So we want to make content to get out there. What should be the first thought we have in mind when it comes to content? Target audience, perfect, I like that. So let's think about our target audience. Why do we want to know about our target audience? Because everybody sees things differently. The only way we learn about our target audience is by doing the research. So we have to research our target audience. And we break that target audience sometimes down into what we call segments, or in this case, let's call them personas. That's like the bottom level. If you've taken one of my other marketing class, we break that down into personas, okay? So a persona is a character that's made up based on all the likes and dislikes and pain points and everything that someone would really want to be engaged with your product. It's not one person, it's one fictional character that represents a group of individuals, okay? So let's talk about the birthday cake example. Let's just think out loud here. Who would want to buy a birthday cake mix to make birthday cakes? Who would want to buy it? Who's that?
I'll buy it.
You'll buy it? And okay, and give me a sense of the type of individual are you? What are your demographics, or what are your stats?
For mixed birthday cake? Like
No, like what, tell me, explain who you are. Tell me who you are.
Okay, I'm just making it up, right?
No, tell me who you, I want to know, yeah, you said you're going to buy the birthday cake mix.
Okay.
So you're going to be my targeted customer.
Okay.
So tell me about yourself.
But I'm saying, I could, like, how can I say this? I can make I don't have to really tell you about me. I could make a.
Sure, you could make it up.
I'm a 12-year-old kid.
You're a 12-year-old kid?
Yes, who's into baking.
Okay, who's into baking? Okay, I like that. Let's put that over here. So kid, 12 years, into baking. Okay, what else?
I like sweets.
Sweets, okay, good. What else?
I'm creative and really like art.
And creative and art. Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna stop there only for a minute because you are a 12-year-old kid and it's hard to market to kids. But generally speaking, kids have parents, adult supervision, right? So maybe it's the adult or the parent or the adult supervisor of the individual that has that 12-year-old kid, right? Now that could be either male or female, right? So now let's call it a female, and let's make her age what? If she has a 12-year-old kid, she's probably between the ages of 28 and 40, maybe something like that, right? So 28 to 40, okay? She could either be professional or stay-at-home mom, let's say, right? So we'll do that over here. We could do professional or stay-at-home mom. She could be either a college grad or not a college grad, right? So I'm giving you very basic, simple demographic stuff. So you college grad, yes or no? What else? She could be married or she could be a single mom, right? Okay, so you could put that there as well, okay? And ethnicity, race, right? Religion, all that could change, of course. We can define that the way we want. Okay, so now you're getting the sense we're starting to build this profile of who would buy that product. So let's say it's we land on female. We land on someone between the ages of 28 and 40. So from a targeting point of view, it's females 28 to 40 who have children, right? Ages 8 to 12, something like that, okay? That's the top level of where you start. Okay, so then if we're going to do that over here, then we're targeting that. We're gonna make that female 28 to 40 with children, right? Okay, now that's the very top target. Very top target. Okay, now below that, let's segment that down a little bit. Below that, maybe over here, we have stay-at-home moms. Okay? And over here, we have working moms, professional moms. Would you say that that's two different type of a woman? Right? With children, a stay-at-home mom has the different lifestyle than a professional mom, right? Everyone's different. Maybe the stay-at-home mom, even though she probably doesn't have a lot of time, she may have more time to cook than the professional mom, right? So there's different things that are tied into that. And maybe there's other things here. So we know the pain points for each one of these moms is different. The stay-at-home mom has a little more time. She likes to be a little more creative in her cooking. Maybe she shares the cooking with her children. You know, as is the professional mom, she likes to share her cooking with her children also, but has less time to do it. Can only do it on the weekends because, you know, by the time she gets home at 6 o'clock, she's feeding the kids, getting the kids' homeworks done, and then if it's a single mom, she's even more time starved. So you see that there's a lot of pain points there that we have to understand. So right now, we have two different women, both of them are ages 28 to 40 with children. One's a stay-at-home mom, one's a professional mom that goes to work. Two different women, even though they live very similar lifestyles, two different women because they have different needs, right? Their cakes are different. Maybe the stay-at-home mom wants a cake that you can put oil and butter and cream and eggs and all that stuff because she's got the time to fluff it up and do all this stuff. But the stay-at-home mom doesn't have that time to put all this. She wants to, add water, mix it, and put it in the oven type of thing, right? So that could be the difference too. So we are now creating these personas. One persona 1 is the stay-at-home mom. Persona number 2 is the professional mom. Both of them want a cake for their children. Both of them want to cook this cake, but both of them have different needs, different pain points. So that messaging that we put out there, it could be, let's do a picture of a beautiful cake product, and maybe one image for the stay-at-home mom is, indulge with your kid in this fluffy, light cake that can be cooked under 2 hours, have family fun or something like that. That same cake, the same image, if you imagine a finished cake for the professional mom, because they easy baked cake in less than 30 minutes, better than anything you could buy in any store, something like that. Because now the mom is stimulated by, I want it quick, I want it easy, I want to make it, the other mom is stimulated by something else. We as marketers have to understand what that stimulation is. Even when we do stuff in store, we have to know how to display that. Okay, so now we've got these two personas here, right? We got stay-at-home mom who likes cake, and we have the professional mom who likes cake. Now our marketing team says, okay, let's go out and get some influences for these individuals. Where do we start looking for influences to help us promote the message, to help us promote the content? Where do we go? Where would you start? Where? Social media, right? What would you look for? Baking videos, right? Family type videos, right? Moms that are cooking already, things like that. And now you have your influences, and you've got these influences. You have the macro influencers over here. You have the macro influencer over here, and then you have the micro influencer over here. The macro has 2 million followers, right? So it has 2 million followers. The micro has only 10,000 followers. The macro is going to charge you $5,000 to hit 2 million followers with a video. The micro is going to charge you $2,000 to hit 10,000 followers. Which one do you pick? What do you pick?
Micro.
You pick micro? Why do you pick micro?
Just because I feel like it's more of a niche, probably more of a niche audience. Depends on like
More niche, more targeted maybe, yeah? Why would you pick micro?
Many people, many people.
So you like macro because there's many people.
Perhaps.
Okay.
The another one is more target.
More targeted, yes. All right, so trick question, there's no right or wrong there, right? There's only gonna be things that are gonna work, and things that are not gonna work so well. I can't tell you that because I don't know what the campaign is. The key is the messaging has to be on point. Maybe this $5,000, if you divide it, if you see what the cost per impression is or cost per user, you take that 5,000 divided by 2 million, it's gonna be 0.00010 cents or whatever it is, right? Per user. Yeah, that looks good. But how many of those 2 million followers are going to be engaged with your brand? Okay, so maybe this micro follower who has 10,000 has more engagement. And I want to have more engagement. So let's do some quick math real fast, just to see if this even pays off. The cake that we sell is $10 retail. You could buy the cake in any supermarket for $10. Okay? I said 5 earlier, didn't I? But let's say for this example, I said $10 retail. So if the cake is $10 retail, how much are we selling it to the retailer for? How much are we selling it on Amazon, whatever it is? What should be that price, on average price that we're selling it for, that we pay for it? Anybody want to guess? Yeah, well, it's normally 50% of, a minimum has to be 50% of what we're selling it for. So I'm going to use that as a rough example. It should actually be 60, no more than 40%, but let's say it's $5 for simple math. So $5 is what we call our cost of goods sold. We're not going to calculate ad spend and all that just yet, okay? But $5, that means for every 1 unit we sell, we have $5 in our pocket. That doesn't mean we keep the $5, it just means we have $5 in our pocket, okay? $5 in our pocket. So who has a calculator? So do the math. If I spend $2,000 with this micro influencer, how many units do I need to sell just to pay for that $2,000? 400, so what are you doing? 400 times 5 gets to what? 2,000, right? Everybody agree with that? So I got to sell minimum 400 units just to break even, okay, at $10, okay, more or less, right? Do we want to break even or do we want to make money? We want to make money. So that means if we want to make money, we need to sell more, exactly. So maybe 401 or 402, right, as an exaggeration. Okay. So 400, I'm going to put 400 units here. 400, because 400 times 5 will give us $2,000. Okay. Now, same example. For same thing, $5. I'm going to give this person $5,000. How many units do I need to sell? 1,000. Okay, 1,000 units. Now, this is by no means the way you really want to do this. This is just thinking out loud here. Just see if it even makes sense. I have to sell 400 units with this influencer in order to pay for my $2,000 spend. I have to sell 1,000 units with this influencer in order to pay for my $5,000 spend. You have to really think about this. What are the chances that we will sell 1,000 units with this influencer? Okay? Now they have 2 million followers. I don't know what their engagement is. If their engagement is 10%, that means there's 200,000 that are engaged. That's great. If their engagement is 5%, that means there's only 100,000 that are engaged. So you have to sort of do the math here. It might be good. And I don't know if this micro would sell 400. If I had to guess, you'll probably make back your money faster here than you will there. That's just an assumption, but you have to roll out the math. So the question you need to ask your influencer when you're partnering with them is, hey, Joe, I love what you're doing. 2 million followers, that's great. You know, you want how much? $5,000? Okay, great. I want you to do a reel for us. Let me ask you a question. In order for me to give you $5,000, I need to sell 1,000 units minimum. Of course, you need to sell more to make money, right? So you would tell me you need to sell 2,000 units because you want to make money on the deal. You don't want to lose money. What's the last product that you promoted, and how many units do you know you sold? You got to ask that question, right? If they don't give you an answer, then maybe that's not the person. I would ask that influencer the same question. So when you put on an influencer, when you partner with an influencer, yes, everyone has followings and that's great. There's micro, there's macro. That's all good. Not everything fits where it needs to fit though. You have to make sure that you are getting what you paid for. That's return on investment, ROI, or in some cases you might call it ROAS, return on ad spend, right? ROAS, return on ad spend. We want to get an X, what we call a conversion X. So that's really important. Now there's also brand awareness. You might have to pay for brand awareness and things like that. When you put on an influencer, you have to interview them as if they're a partner in the company though, because they will be making something happen for you. And if you're going to pay them, you want to see some results. Maybe it's not about conversion. Maybe it's not about conversion. Maybe it's just about brand awareness. I mean, right? If you can get a macro influencer, one of those macro influencers to talk about you a little bit, pay them a couple of bucks or whatever it is for a quick shout out, that could be worth money. And then there's also something you can't measure, and that's the what we call the latent effect. Maybe that influencer puts something out today, but the action doesn't happen for 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. It's hard to track that. You could track it if they buy through a link that you give them, but so there's a latent effect too. So choosing an influencer is really important. You have to make them, you have to think about them as your salesperson. As your salesperson, why would you partner with them? And you need to interview them as if they're part of your team. Okay, you can get packages, and influencers have gotten smarter over the years. Way back when, we used to have a group called mommy bloggers. They used to be moms that used to blog, and I put together a program way back when, and I worked with mommy bloggers. They used to have a big conference where all the moms who had blogs came in, and they would charge $10,000 sometimes to write a blog about your product and things like that. I mean, they would get a lot of money. There are TikTokers now that are making $100,000, $200,000 a year by sponsoring products. So you could do that, but does the brand tie into it? Remember, we want brand equity, we want customer lifetime value. It's very tricky today because you never know who goes off the rails, right? If you pick the wrong influencer, then all of a sudden, you know, they're doing things and you got to interview them and make sure they're doing the right thing. So that's how you would choose some of these influencers when you make a choice. Sometimes it's not about the reach, it's more about the action. I think it's all about the action. And then you've got all the political stuff and all the social stuff, and you have a lot to think about there when you put on an influencer. Again, this all starts where? It all starts with the content. The content will dictate how you drive your messaging. So the right content in front of the right consumer at the right time helps you with the purchase. So now think about this in the omnichannel world, in a retail world. What should this look like? Let's stay with the cake example. So I wanted to make a birthday cake for my son. I knew my son's birthday was coming up, obviously, months in advance, right? Okay, I'm out shopping I ended up making the purchase at Walmart. That's where we ended up making that purchase. But I'm out shopping at Joe's Supermarket where I normally go. And I'm walking around Joe's Supermarket and I see a display about cakes. I don't do anything because I don't need a cake, but I see a nice display about cake. I see a sign about cake. Maybe I see a little video about cake. I'm on Joe's emails and stuff like that. Maybe he'll send out a celebrate your cake email or something like that. But now I'm getting some visual content. I'm getting stimulation on cakes from Joe's Supermarket. and I'm seeing that. When I go onto Google, I know my son's birthday is coming up in a couple months. I go on how to make a cake. Now, when I start searching Google, I see things with cake come up. Why? Because they're targeting you. They're retargeting. Joe's Supermarket knows I'm in that geography. I'm one of his favorites, you know, in terms of followings. So now Joe's Supermarket ads come up on my Google feed because I am looking for a cake. If he's doing that right, I'm seeing that feed. And maybe sometime I get a remarketing email through Google or Gmail, and it tells me, hey, Joe's got a great cake sale or something along those lines. Now, when I'm ready to buy a cake, instead of me going online and searching for things and making that choice, I'm buying it at Walmart, I'm already preconditioned to buy at Joe's. So for me to make that purchase at Walmart, I really have to go the complete different direction to buy that, right? So now Joe's already done the work and he's already sold me on the cake, and that's going to be the key thing there, okay? So that's how that omni-channel process basically works. And that all starts with the content. It all starts with building your persona and creating content. Content is going to drive all the conversation, okay?